I'm Liyanna Hassanel, and Nightline begins right now. The top stories. Good news awaits teachers ahead of National Teachers' Day celebration. And no more subsidy for excessive household electricity use. Good morning. Fadlina Siddiq has hinted at some good news for teachers. The Education Minister said the good news will be announced in conjunction with the National Level Teachers' Day celebration, which will take place at the Malacca International Trade Centre, MITC, in Air Keroh on Tuesday. According to Fadlina, the announcement is expected to inspire teachers to serve more brilliantly and to be more dedicated to producing the best human capital.
Kita akan umumkan, insyaAllah, ada beberapa perkara yang saya fikir penting untuk kita bagi semangat pada guru-guru kita dan keseluruhan ekosistem pendidikan dan khususnya untuk negara.
She said this at the McDonald's 2023 Inspirational Teachers Award presentation ceremony at MITC on Monday. She also said due respect should be given to educators if Malaysia was to be developed into a strong nation. The National Teachers' Day celebration will be officiated by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. The theme of this year's National Teachers' Day celebration is Guru Insani Pemangkin Generasi Madani, or Teachers as a Catalyst for the Madani generation. Households with excessive electricity consumption will no longer enjoy government subsidies and will be charged the full tariff. However, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim did not specify the exact implementation date for the electricity tariff adjustment.
Umpamanya kalau rumah guna 3 fan, 4 aircon, dia harus bayar kos sebenar dan tidak menggunakan subsidi. Maknanya M40, B40 tidak dinaikkan. Tapi rumah-rumah yang menggunakan elektrik yang tinggi itu akan dikenakan bayaran ikut kos pasaran.
Datuk Sri Anwar said this in a media conference after chairing the National Economic Action Council M10 meeting in Putrajaya on Monday. Previously, the Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Minister, Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, said that the provision of electricity tariff subsidies for domestic users in the T20 category needs to be reviewed in the future, as this group is capable of paying more competitive tariffs. He also said that the country needs to transition to targeted subsidies in electricity tariffs by ensuring that only the targeted groups benefit. Datuk Sri Anwar also announced that the M10 has agreed to refine the targeted diesel subsidy, which will benefit 9 types of vehicles in the transportation sector. He added that the subsidy will be delivered through the fleet card system.
Maknanya peningkatan kenderaan yang menggunakan diesel 2.4%. Penggunaan diesel melonjak 37.7%. Jadi ada masalah tentang salah guna atau penyeludupan ketirisan. Ini yang disebutkan ketirisan 10 bilion ringgit.
He also said the targeted diesel subsidy will include general cargo lorries, beverage delivery lorries, refrigerated trucks, box trucks, heavy-duty trucks and tank trucks. The system will also help Putrajaya monitor diesel consumption and prevent leakages or misuse of targeted subsidies. M10 has also agreed to set up a database to monitor and ensure that those in need received allocated subsidies to help the government provide targeted subsidies and assistance more effectively. At a separate event, Datuk Sri Anwar reminded all enforcement bodies under the Home Ministry to improve their performance apart from assisting the government to carry out a shift in administration governance. He said the services by these groups should be able to help drive national economic growth apart from ensuring the fair distribution of the country's wealth.
Selalu dalam jemaah menteri ada menegur supaya diperbaiki ada jalan di lapangan terbang, sempadan. Tadi kita bincang di Majlis Tindakan Ekonomi Negara bersama DPM Dr. Zaid, soal penyeludupan masih tinggi, hilang minyak diesel 10 bilion ringgit setahun.
He said this in his speech at the Home Ministry's Hari Raya Madani celebration in Serdang on Monday. Datuk Seri Anwar added that the government appreciates the services of all enforcement bodies that contribute to maintaining peace and ensuring the proper functioning of institutions, which is better than some other countries. However, there is still a need for improvement, and efforts towards excellence must be made. Speaking at Motak's Hari Raya Aidilfitri open house in Putrajaya later in the day, Datuk Seri Anwar said the government is prepared to issue immediate approval for chartered flights into the country as means to boost tourist arrivals. The Prime Minister said the decision was in line with the government's efforts to ease the process for the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry, Motak, to attract tourists to the country.
Kita nampak satu lonjakan kehadiran pelancong-pelancong ke dalam negara kita. Dari soal-soal teknikal dia minta soal visa semua, saya dah bincang dengan Menteri Dalam Negeri. Menteri Dalam Negeri kata kalau peringkat awal yang kita boleh luluskan segera, yang chartered flight dulu.
Datuk Seri Anwar added the government would also consider other suggestions for Motak to attract tourist arrivals, as the tourism industry is a crucial source of revenue for the country. In the first quarter of the year, about 4.3 million foreign tourists had entered the country, and from the total, 178,150 were tourists from China. The Sultan of Johor has expressed his disappointment over the poor condition of low-cost flats in the state in terms of infrastructure, maintenance and cleanliness, as if the residents are living in chicken coops. Sultan Ibrahim Ibni Almarhum Sultan Iskandar said most of the low-cost flats were dirty and poorly maintained, with improper rubbish disposal, creating ideal breeding grounds for pests and insects. In a statement posted on his Facebook page on Monday, Sultan Ibrahim called upon the federal government to provide assistance in repairing these dilapidated low-cost flats, while emphasizing that the residents themselves should also take responsibility for keeping their surroundings clean. Earlier, the ruler granted an audience to Local Government Development Minister Nga Korming at Istana Bukit Serene. His Majesty expressed his hope that the ministry would pay attention to the matters raised by him for the benefit of the people of Johor. Sultan Ibrahim also said he is not satisfied with the cleaning services provided by SWM Environment Sdn Bhd in Johor, stressing that despite the substantial annual payment of 180 million ringgit to the company, the service quality remained unsatisfactory. In another development, Nga said the Local Government Development Ministry will ensure there are no more sick projects under the One Malaysia People's Housing Programme, PRIMA, by next year. Speaking at the Prima Residency Kota Tinggi key handing over ceremony and Hari Raya open house on Monday, the minister said this was the commitment of the unity government to ensure the welfare and well-being of the people. Earlier, Nga, together with Johor Menteri Besar Datuk Onn Hafiz Ghazi, also visited the Prima Residency Kota Tinggi show house. The project has 625 units of terrace houses equipped with facilities for the residents, such as a kindergarten, multipurpose hall, playground and surau. Previously, it was identified as a Level 1 sick project and was completed through the ministry's Sick Project Rehabilitation Program. The Social Security Organization, SOCSO, will amend the Employment Insurance System Act this year to provide the allocation of childcare grants to women who are returning to work. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said the one-month grant equaling 80% of the insured monthly salary, will be provided to approximately 136,800 women, amounting to 290 million ringgit.
Another important benefit for women to join the workforce that must be upheld by the government is the governance and quality of childcare centres. For this, a total of 15 million ringgit is allocated as a soft loan for childcare operators in recent budget 2023 announcement.
She said this in her opening address at the 2023 World Women Economic and Business Forum in Kuala Lumpur on Monday. Datuk Seri Nancy pointed out that the government also aspires to increase female labour participation to 59% by 2025, which is in line with the government's policy to have at least 30% of women as decision makers in the corporate sector. Water supply resumed in stages for about 90% of consumers who faced water disruption since Sunday in Pulau Pinang due to a sudden drop in water level at the Sungai Muda intake inlet, which affected the inflow to the Sungai Dua Water Treatment Plant LRA. Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow said the remaining 10%, which involves about 40,000 consumers in the Barat Daya district, will receive water supply in stages until Wednesday. Chow on Monday also urged the National Water Services Commission, SPAN, to carry out a thorough investigation into the malfunctioning issue of the Sungai Muda barrage, which affected millions of consumers in Pulau Pinang and Kedah.
How vulnerable we are. Dengan satu pintu tidak berfungsi, sudah menjejaskan 600 lebih akaun yang membabitkan mungkin 2-3 juta orang terkesan oleh satu kejadian yang mungkin lihat tak penting tapi penting sangat. Jadi SPAN perlulah melakukan siasatan ini dan juga memastikan kejadian sedemikian tidak berlaku lagi.
SPAN Chairman Charles Santiago later confirmed an investigation will be carried out, adding that he will be going to both states this week to see for himself exactly what transpired. After this breather, Thailand opposition crushes military parties in election rout. Details when we return. Thailand's opposition Move Forward Party, MFP, on Monday said he had been in contact with at least 5 opposition parties on forming a coalition and warned any attempt to interfere in the election outcome will come at a hefty price. Speaking at a news conference, 42-year-old Pita Limjaroenrat, whose party came in first in Sunday's election, said he was ready to be Prime Minister and he has proposed an alliance that would command 309 seats.
I am ready to be the Prime Minister for all, whether you agree with me or you disagree with me. There will be a total of 6 parties that will amount to approximately 309 out of 500 in the lower house. And I think we can secure, safe to assume that we have secured the majority in forming the government going forward.
Peter also said all sides must respect the election outcome and there was no use going against it. However, uncertainty remains about whether they would be able to form the next government due to skewed parliamentary rules that allow 250 members of a military-appointed Senate to vote on the Prime Minister. That means the MFP will need the support of smaller parties to establish a new administration. Earlier, it was reported that Thai opposition parties swept the board in Sunday's nationwide election, as voters delivered a powerful rebuke to the military-backed establishment that has ruled since the 2014 coup. Turnout was at a record high as voters flocked to calls for change, and with more than 99% of votes counted, the progressive MFP is projected to win 151 seats, with populist Pheu Thai in second place with 141 seats. That puts the opposition far ahead of the party of incumbent Prime Minister and 2014 coup leader Prayut Chan-o-cha. Meanwhile, in Turkey, the country's most critical election yet ended in uncertainty, with locals set to head off to a runoff vote after President Recep Tayyip Erdogan led over his opposition rival Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu in Sunday's election, but fell short of an outright majority to extend his 20-year rule of the NATO member country. Appearing before a sea of supporters early on Monday, Erdogan proclaimed that he had a clear lead, but stopped short of declaring outright victory, instead saying he would wait for the final result.
Şu anda parlamentoda çoğunluk Cumhur İttifakı'ndadır. Komisyonların genelinde Cumhur İttifakı hakimdir. Dolayısıyla mecliste çoğunluğu Cumhur İttifakı'na veren milletimizin tercihinin Cumhurbaşkanlığı seçiminde de güven ve istikrardan yana olacağından şüphe duymuyoruz. Beklenen geliyor.
After a hard-fought campaign that had raised hopes of an opposition breakthrough, Erdogan won 49.51% of votes in the presidential race, well ahead of Kılıçdaroğlu with 44.88%. With no candidate securing more than 50%, the tally as it stands would send the two rivals to a second round of voting on May 28th, but with the incumbent as the clear favorite. Other than leading with more than 2 million votes in the presidential race, Erdogan's right-wing coalition also appeared on course to win an outright majority in the Turkish parliamentary election, bolstering his position in any runoff.
5 lira abiciğim. Teşekkürler, sağ olasın. Kolay gelsin.
Amid Asia's brutally hot weather, major cities in China have issued heat advisories on Monday as the country braces for record-breaking heat that could threaten electricity supply, crops, and a fragile economy. The heat blanketed China's financial hub of Shanghai as temperatures reached 34.5 degrees Celsius, leaving Shandong and Beijing to issue heat warnings. Jinan, Tianjin, and Zhengzhou, meanwhile, are expected to see temperatures soar to as high as 37 degrees Celsius. The heat waves are occurring ahead of the regular summer season, which is particularly worrying for agriculture as crop damage could drive up food prices, exacerbate inflation, and put pressure on China's economy. The heat could again put pressure on water reserves, citing record-breaking temperatures last year, which caused major rivers and waterways to dry up. A Chinese court on Monday has sentenced an elderly U.S. citizen to life in prison on espionage charges, the latest in the growing number of foreign nationals and organizations caught up in the country's anti-espionage crackdown. In the latest case, John Xing Wan Leung, a Hong Kong permanent resident, was convicted of espionage and given a life sentence by the Intermediate People's Court in the eastern city of Suzhou. Chinese authorities and state media have not disclosed any information on Leung's detention or the court process that led to his conviction. as cases involving state security are strictly handled behind closed doors, where the judicial system has a conviction rate of about 99%. The U.S. Embassy in Beijing said it was aware of Leung's sentencing and expressed no greater priority for the safety and security of U.S. citizens overseas. The sentencing comes at a time when relations between Beijing and Washington are at their lowest point in half a century, amid intensifying rivalry over trade, technology, geopolitics, and military supremacy. Shafiq Zubair bags Malaysia's 30th goal. Sports when we come back. Malaysia kept the hope of winning 40 gold medals alive after the national contingent claimed another gold medal on Monday, taking the tally to 30. The only gold of the day came from the Taekwondo event. Shafiq Zubair triumphed on a rather quiet day for Malaysia in the SEA Games as the Taekwondo exponent retained his men's 80-kilogram event. The national athlete overcame Indonesia's Naufal Khairuddin Osanando 2-1 in the final. And in conjunction with Mother's Day, Shafiq dedicated the gold medal to his mother, Salma Shafi. Malaysia started the day fairly when the national sepak takraw men's doubles bagged the silver medal after they suffered a 1-2 defeat to Indonesia in the final. Nur Aizat Nordin and Aidil Aiman Zawawi began the match on a positive note and took the opening set 21-16. Indonesia's Saiful Rijal and Muhammad Hardiansyah Mulyang, however, leveled the match after taking the second set 21-16, before closing out the match with a 21-13 win in the third set. Malaysia still has a chance of winning gold in the inter-regu event on Tuesday. The sepak takraw squad has won 3 silver and 2 bronzes in the competition so far. Later in the day, Malaysia won its first SEA Games weightlifting medal on the sport's last day. Nur Shazwani Radzi, 20, won a bronze when she lifted 80 kilograms in the snatch event and followed it up with 104 kilograms in clean and jerk for a total of 184 kilograms. Indonesia's Sabita Alfia Ramadhani won the gold and Vietnam's T. Thuyen Din took silver. In the badminton event, the scratch combination of Yap Roy King and Cheng Su-yin made an immediate impact at the SEA Games by reaching the mixed doubles final. Roy King Su-yin booked their place in the final after ousting Thailand's Pakapon Tira Ratsakul Pataimas Muen Wong 24-22, 25-27, 21-19 in the semi-finals. However, they were the only Malaysians to reach the final, as Leong Jun Hao, Lee Shun Yang, Lee Shin Ji, Lo Yin Yuan, and Cheng Su Hui, Cheng Su Yin were shown the door in the semi-finals on Monday. In the hockey event, the Malaysian women's field team turned up the power to hammer Indonesia 6-0 in their final pool match. Malaysia, who did not drop a single point in 4 matches, will play Thailand for the SEA Games gold on Tuesday. Coach Nasihin Nubli's Chargers will start as favourites, having beaten Thailand 3-0 in the pool. Still to come, mother charged with sexual assault of 2 sons and directing child porn. Are reminded not to treat the integrity pledge signed every month lightly to eradicate gambling in their respective administrative districts. Bukit Aman CID Director Datuk Sri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said this is because he received information that some among the Kuala Lumpur police contingent were not satisfied when Bukit Aman CID D7 Task Force was sent to take action against online gambling premises.
Janganlah aku janji ini dianggap sebagai satu kertas tisu yang tiada nilai. Tidak ada lagi amaran. Pastikan keselarasan di antara tindakan kita dengan prinsip moral, etika dan undang-undang serta keselarasan di antara kepentingan diri dengan kepentingan umum.
Datuk Ayub Khan said this to the media after witnessing the handover of duties to the new Kuala Lumpur Police Chief, Datuk Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain. He stressed that combating gambling takes time and the syndicates are always changing their modus operandi. He also said that he had given instructions to all CID heads and CID division heads at the contingent and district levels to ensure that the anti-gambling operation continued and not wait for Bukit Aman to take action. In Selangor, a mother pleaded not guilty at the Klang Sessions Court on Monday to 3 counts of committing physical sexual assault on her 2 sons, aged 12 and 14, in November last year. The 33-year-old woman was alleged to have committed the offence at around 8 p.m. in their apartment in Puncak Alam. The mother of 5 also pleaded not guilty to another charge of directing the making of child pornography at a hotel in Sungai Buloh between February 17th and 18th last year. Both offences under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act carries a maximum jail term of 20 years and whipping if convicted. Meanwhile, car repossessor 22-year-old Haddad Muhammad Radi, who is also the woman's acquaintance, was charged with committing physical sexual assault on a 15-year-old girl at the same hotel on the same date. Judge Shafira Muhammad Said did not allow bail for the woman and fixed June 26th for case mention, while Haddad was allowed bail of 15,000 ringgit with 1 surety, and his case was set for mention on June 14th. This time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at the highlights of Media Prima Berhad's Idul Fitri celebration. Themed Seindah Kasih Colour Pop Raya, the event was held simultaneously at Sri Pentas Bandar Utama and Balai Berita in Bangsar. And with that, I'm Liyanna Hassanel. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.